Have you ever felt like there are these invisible walls you've built around yourself? The limitations that kind of hold you back from living the creative, authentic life you really want? So how do we break free? How do we find the person we're truly meant to be? Well, let's dive into a framework that might just help.
This line, wow, it's from a poem called Prison, and it just speaks to a feeling so many of us know deep down. The very things we create to protect ourselves, our habits, the masks we wear, our fears, they can become the very bars that keep us locked up. We think we're building a safe little space, only to turn around and realize we've actually trapped ourselves inside.
But here's the really crucial part, right? If we're the architects of our own prisons, that means we also hold the power to dismantle them. We've got the blueprints. So the question isn't if freedom is possible. The question is, where do we find the key?
And that key, well, it's a really practical framework called CREATE. Now, this isn't just a set of principles for, painting or making music. It's a guide for creating the actual life you want to live. It's all about reclaiming your own power, your own potential.
So let's just walk through what this means real quick. C is for conduit, becoming a channel for your intuition. R is for realizing your own limitless potential. The first E is for experimenting, just trying new things without needing to know exactly how they'll turn out. A is for accessing your creative flow, which is always available right here, right now. T is for transcending fear, seeing it not as a red light, but maybe as a green light for growth. And that final E, that's for expressing your full self, no holding back.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into that very first step, becoming a conduit and trusting the creative flow. This is all about learning to listen to a different part of yourself, the part that operates beyond just pure logic and reason.
The whole idea here is to stop trying to control and manage every single thought. See, true creativity, real insight, that's not something we can just manufacture. It's something we have to allow. When you think of yourself as an open channel, a conduit, you create the space for inspiration to come through you.
And this idea just comes to life in this incredible real-world story. After recovering from a serious illness, a woman named Claudette started having these vivid dreams of intricate floral designs. Now, she could have just dismissed them, right? But she didn't. She trusted that intuition. She actually got up, went to her table, and just let the images from her dreams flow out through her hands, creating these beautiful things she never even planned.
And this story illustrates a much deeper truth. That state of openness, whether it happens in your sleep or just in a quiet moment, it can be a portal. For Claudette, it led to artistic inspiration. For someone else, it might bring a profound revelation that leads to some deep personal healing, something that helps make sense of your own life's journey.
So, we're really talking about two different ways of operating. There's the logical mind. It's super useful, but it's constrictive. It can only work with what it already knows, past data. Its whole job is to predict and control. But then you have the creative flow, and that is expansive. It's totally open to the unknown, ready to receive and give voice to something completely new.
Tapping into that creative flow, well, it ultimately leads to what might be the bravest act of all, revealing your true self. This is the point where creation moves from being about what you do to being about who you are. It's about that liberating and, sometimes difficult choice to be fully and truly authentic.
This line from a poem called Revealed just captures that feeling perfectly. It's this universal call to pull back the curtain, to take off the mask that we wear for protection, and to finally let the world see the person who's been behind the scenes this whole time.
Now, revealing your true self sounds amazing, but let's be honest, it often comes with a cost. It can challenge relationships, completely disrupt the status quo, and force you to confront some really uncomfortable truths. So what's the real price you pay for that kind of freedom?
Let me tell you the story of a woman named Udoka. For over 50 years, she lived under a different name, an identity that was tied to her stepfather. And to reclaim her true self, she made a terrifying choice. She went to the immigration authorities and admitted that she had lied, risking everything. Her home, her immigration status, her entire life in a new country. And in the process of standing in her truth, she lost 80% of the people she thought were her friends.
So, was it worth it? Here's her answer, crystal clear. The freedom of finally living as her true self was worth more than anything she could have possibly lost. For her, it wasn't just about changing her name. She was choosing to live after feeling like she was dead for years.
And here's the most beautiful final detail to her story. Her birth name, Udoka, in the Igbo language of Nigeria, means peace is great. Her entire journey, as incredibly hard as it was a pilgrimage to find a peace that could only come from embracing her authentic identity. She literally had to live up to her own name.
Udoka's story is just a monumental act of courage. But freedom isn't always about one big, life-altering decision. It's also found in the small, daily acts of courage that often go completely unnoticed.
This is from Claudette again, the woman who dreamed of flowers. She talked about living with a chronic illness, where every single day can feel like a battle. She explains that true courage is found in those quiet moments when you have to fight all the negative thoughts telling you to just stay in bed, and you willfully choose to get up anyway, to show up for the day, and to believe that whatever you can manage to do will be good enough.
And that is such a core message here. We tend to reserve words like brave and magnificent for these grand, heroic gestures. But sometimes the most magnificent act of creation is simply the choice to face the day, to carry on even when you're surrounded by gloom or pain. That, right there, is a profound victory.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. We've heard that just rising to face the day is an act of courage. So you did that. You rose to face this day. With this one day you've been given, how will you choose to be magnificent?